where people can opt in, and they can opt in with one click, right? That's one of the nice features that actually drew me to UpViral. People, if they are not in the campaign already, they just have a link that integrates directly with our email tool. They click on it and they get into the campaign already.
Hey everyone, it's Wilco the Kreij here, and today I got a really special guest. His name is Emanuel Cinca. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, that's right. Hey, how's it going?
Awesome, doing well. How are you today?
Pretty good, pretty good. Excited to have this chat with you.
Awesome. So the reason why we have you on the call is because you've been using UpViral for quite a while, and I just wanted to invite you on this call to see, what you've been doing, what's been working for you, and the results you've been getting with UpViral. So first of all, could you do us a quick introduction, like in a minute or so, what your business is? Like, what do you do online?
Yeah, sure. So we have a newsletter that is called Stacked Marketer. It's a daily marketing newsletter. So every weekday, Monday to Friday, we send the latest news that has to do with digital marketing. So whether you're someone who is doing Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO, or maybe like some of these more like newer emerging platforms, Snapchat and stuff like that, we try to cover everything. We try to put up the latest news, trends, and of course, actionable advice, which is kind of like what I feel is oftentimes missing. So we try to dig after some interesting case studies and stuff like that to share.
Cool, yes. And for those who are watching, highly recommend it, stackedmarketer.com to opt in. So at some point before you even started using UpViral, you probably had an urge, like you had a certain thing you wanted to do. That's why you started with UpViral. So what was it that made you look into UpViral or something similar? What did you want to achieve with a system like that?
So we get pretty decent feedback from our, the newsletter evolved over the past 2 years and a few months. But we already got very good feedback from the beginning. Like, this is very nice. I'm sharing good with my friends, stuff like that. And we were looking for ways to kind of enhance that shareability of the newsletter itself, right? So, and the way to do that is usually with a nice referral program where you give some incentives and something that you can mention regularly. Of course, the content has to be good enough to share, but then a little bit of a nudge with other incentives helps a lot. That's also what we've seen, and that's also what we've seen in other newsletters that tackle different industries but have like a similar business model and similar format overall. So we looked at what other people do. We thought what our readers were telling us, and that's when I started looking for some sort of tool to help us create this referral program.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail there, because some people think it's enough to just put out an incentive and people will start sharing. That's not enough. People need to want to share. Like, you need to put out good content. But even if you put out great content, some people will share, but that might not enough to really get a lot of people to move. So I think it's a combination of the two that's really a winner. Would you agree?
Yeah, exactly. So it's the combination of the two, and even the incentives themselves, right? Like, what are you giving people? It has to be something that your audience really wants. That's what I've noticed as well. It's not like we didn't get it completely right from the first time. It helped, but we tried to make it better over time as well.
So what was your process there? Like, what did you give away first, and then what did you learn that people want or didn't want, or what are you giving away now as the incentive for people to share?
Well, it wasn't any drastic change, but for around, let's say, 6 months to a year. So the first 6 months to a year when we used UpViral, we had some pretty okay prizes. So one of them, the initial prize matters a lot, right? You want to get people into that sharing mood. So the initial prize was and still is a private Facebook group. And then afterwards, we just started adding more layers to it. So things like t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, backpacks, stuff like that. So things that have to do, but like the final prize always was and still is, for example, at 1,000 referrals, a trip to Vienna. So nobody reached it yet, but there are a few people who are halfway there. So there's still some way to go, but it's getting there.
That's awesome. So, and the first thing is a community, you said, like a Facebook group.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's all. How many people do they need to refer to get that?
5 people.
5 people, that's awesome, because that makes them, like, besides that it's a good reward, it also increases the relationship you have with them as well, because it puts them inside this extra special community. That's really clever.
And the main thing that we've noticed, though, that we changed from, version 1 to, let's say, version 2 is the steps it takes in between prizes. So we had a few prizes that were separated by, let's say, like 50 referrals, and that's too much. Like if someone has 5 friends and then a few months later, maybe they can have another 5 or 10 and stuff like that. But if they see, oh, it's 50, I'm never going to reach another 50 people, I stop here. So it has to be a little bit more layered let's say more even. Don't make it harder and harder. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So after they unlock 5 points, what's the next thing? How many points would they need to get the next reward?
Afterwards, it's 10 points. Which will be stickers, and then I'm not sure if it starts to get to another 10 or 5. So it's a little bit like I don't have the whole referral program in my mind now.
Of course, but it's little steps, baby steps to make it attainable.
Yeah, so not more than like towards the end, it still gets towards like 100 or 200 steps, like a few hundred towards the 1,000 part. But that if someone has 500 friends to refer, they'll probably have 1,000 as well. So it gets a little bit easier. But let's say the first 100, it's all separated between 5 to 20 steps or so.
Yeah, and what I like about your campaign as well is that like some of our customers, they use a one-time campaign. It's like for example a 2-week period where someone can win something, but yours is set up so it's evergreen, like it will keep on running, right? And my question to you is like, how do you promote it? Like, how do you get new people into your referral program, into your viral campaign? From where will they discover it, so to speak?
Sure. Well, the main place is our newsletter. So every time we send out a newsletter, which we do very often, right? Monday to Friday, that's 5 newsletters a week. We have a section where we mention the referral program and present either a selection of prizes or one specific prize. Where people can opt in, and they can opt in with one click, right? That's one of the nice features that actually drew me to UpViral. People, if they are not in the campaign already, they just have a link that integrates directly with our email tool. They click on it and they get into the campaign already. So that's the main way we promote it, essentially with every newsletter.
That's awesome. So if I were to make it visual, I'm always a visual person, give or take, like this would be your opt-in form and people would sign up to Stack Marketer, like I'm just going to call it, well, it's kind of weird, SM, Stack Marketer. And then from that point onwards, you send them daily emails. So these are emails, right? And then in the footer, or like somewhere at the bottom of the email, that's basically where you plug one specific prize or like a reward, or remind them of like, hey people, you can then share, right? And if people then share that, they would then go to an opt-in page, and that's how you build up your list, right? And that way
once they're in the newsletter, they don't have to go to the opt-in page. They click on the link and they get opted in.
Their friends would go to the opt-in page. Like they click, they share it
to the opt-in page.
They share, and then their friends would go either to this opt-in page or to a similar one. Cool, that's awesome. And so far, how many people have you had refer to this? I mean, I looked on Twitter, for example. I'm not sure if I got it here open. I saw on Twitter there's quite a few people, because Twitter is like searchable, right? That's the one you can actually see what people are sharing.
You like give a little bit of a thumbs up or some nice feedback for people who share there. Yeah,
like here I see like people sharing the link that you got. So like this is like 2 days ago. Like there's a bunch of people who are sharing it. So apparently it's working. Obviously other networks aren't as transparent. I can't really look at it. Before we go into the results, do you know which of the networks are most successful for you? Where do people get, is it Facebook, is it Twitter, or do you keep track of that?
I don't keep track too closely of that because I think most people share basically everywhere. So what I've noticed though is that it's a lot of the times people who are in specific communities. So if there's in a Facebook group that they share, or if there's a Slack group, stuff like that, like a specific marketing community, right? Because they cannot just share it literally everywhere. Not everyone wants to know about marketing. So it is like they have to target communities.
Yeah, so they share exactly where your target audience is as well, which makes it even better. So how many leads have you generated so far using UpViral, would you say?
Well, probably should be around the range of 4,000 to 5,000 from UpViral. What I know is that approximately 20% of our new subscribers come from this referral program, according to Google
20%.
Analytics and UpViral. Like obviously, 20%, yeah. Of course,
that's awesome.
We increase budget, it's pretty good. Like if we increase budget on paid ads, of course, it's a little bit less. but
Yeah.
it's one of the things, right? Like everyone who comes from, let's say, Facebook ads that we run will then at some point get into UpViral and can promote more. So like this whole system it's not just like a one-time thing. As you said, it's an ongoing evergreen type of campaign. And that's like what makes it more valuable to us.
Yeah, it's like every time you get 4 leads, you get 1 extra lead for free, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that makes the ripple effect go wider. So what would you say would be, someone is starting out with UpViral, what would be like your biggest lessons that you learned? Like, hey, do this because that will have a big impact on the results you're getting.
Definitely, if you have an audience already, make sure to, specifically for email, right? This is my case. Use the one-click opt-in. Definitely was very, very useful. That's, as I said, that's one of the reasons that I chose UpViral and not other tools, because I was looking for some way to get everyone who were like at least as many as possible who were already on our list to use this referral program. And aside from that, I do think it makes sense to carefully split test your opt-in pages. So like the one where you say refer, like who's referring, like we started by having the exact same page as the home page. And then we did a split test where the referral page, instead of being generic, whatever, it had the same design, but the headline said, instead of, digital marketing newsletter, it said something like your friend wants you to become a smarter marketer or something along those lines. So that helped a lot. Like I think, yeah. So that helped increase our conversion rate quite a bit.
That's really good.
Yeah,
like I'm seeing it right here. This is the actual page right here.
If you can do like a refresh, I think it's not cached properly or something.
Oh, let me just refresh it right now.
Yeah.
Like right here, this is your main page, and that says the market is number 1 daily newsletter. While if someone refers their friends, then they see your friend thinks you want to be a smarter marketer. Makes it super personal. Like we can help you with a free, carefully created email with news, tech, and actionable advice. And I really like that approach. So also to make things visual. So what you're actually doing is like you get your main opt-in page right here, right? Where people opt in, they go to the thank you page. You send them, like every time you send out an email, or most of the times, you would include a share button. And you mentioned the one-click share button. For those who don't know what that is, it means that if you send out a broadcast to your current email list, like MailChimp, Aweber, it doesn't really matter. You can just include a link to get people to share. If they click that, they don't need to opt in or anything like that. Automatically, they'll be able to share their own unique personal invite link, and UpViral does all the tracking, right? So you send out those emails, but then once someone actually shares that, they actually don't go to this first page that I showed, but they go to like a second opt-in page. Let me just draw it here, right? And that is specifically targeted at like, hey, your friend recommended. I think that's really, really clever. Sorry for the rough sketch.
The rate gets quite a bit better. So I think the usual opt-in used to be like 50% on the initial one, but basically like 10% total conversion rate extra. So pretty good. Let's say like every 10 people who enter, we have an extra free one because of that change from the generic one to your friend is recommending it.
That's awesome. And one other thing that I noticed as well, when people share, there's this image right here, stack marketer. Did you put any special thought into this, or was it just like, I'll just put something up, or was that carefully designed? Like
not a huge amount of thought. So it's still something that we want to work on at some point. Like it has to be enough traffic, right, to get enough data. But the one thing that I did think to make sure I think it's very useful is the word free. So people know that it's something that can opt in for free. It's weird that it's been around for so long, right? Everyone is free. It's still a very powerful word. It still works after so long. Yeah. So I would certainly recommend that, if your product is free, make sure you mention that it's free. That would
totally
be something
agree.
Like a no-brainer, essentially.
Yeah, and I like that you also use your own custom domain, like Stack Marketer. Some people, because at UpViral you can also use like preset domains if you want to go easy. But I feel like if you just use your own domain name, which you can do using UpViral, no problem at all, it just looks a lot better. Because it makes it seem more legit. It's actually going to your business, to your brand, which is what it's all about. Like even if they don't click, it's still they see your brand right there, and it will click with them. So anything else that our customers should know about, anything that you feel like you want to share and that will help them?
So I think it's important that you have also like after you have someone reach a certain point, I think it's important to have like a nice price email. So what we've did after every in terms of like emails, right? If they reach 5 referrals or 5 points, they get a notification over email and it tells them, look, this is what you unlocked. But then what we did, of course, at the end of the email, we remind them what's the next step. So for every single prize that they get, they kind of get a small nudge to, hey, by the way, keep going because this is what you can get next. I think that's something people should still have in their general strategy.
Yeah, and do you do that using the email notifications from within UpViral, or do you do that using your own system?
No, from within UpViral directly, yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for sharing your wisdom and sharing your campaigns, sharing your campaign and insights. Some really good tips here, like especially the second landing page, I like that a lot. The stacked incentives, what I mean is like not like have a big list of like, from 5 you need to go to 50, but like 5 people. And then if you did that, go to 10. And like also like get people to do the next thing. I also like it a lot that you actually gave away a community access to a Facebook group, because besides that there's value in there, it also like it creates this community of like super committed people to your brand, because if they are sharing it with their friends, it means that they're buying into your mission, into what you do. But like, because they're in that community, it makes the bonding even stronger. So yes, it's awesome to get referrals, but at the same time, you're creating like a breeding ground for your most loyal fans. So I really like that. And like definitely, which is one of my favorites as well, is inside the footer of your emails, like, and everyone can do this if you send out broadcast emails, include your, using the one-click sign up, include like, hey, an incentive, like, hey, if you share this with your friends, you'll get X, Y, or Z. And I like that you actually highlighted this every time. Actually, last week, the week before, I got an email from Ryan Dice, founder of Digital Marketer. He was doing the exact same thing. He's also doing that, going to do that for digitalmarketer.com, using UpViral, like exact same thing. Footer of the email, remind people. And that way, like you said, for every 4 emails you get from other channels, you get an extra lead for free, or sometimes it's 3 to 1, depending on what the numbers are. Did I summarize that correctly?
Yeah, I think that was a very good summary. Exactly.
Cool, man. I want to thank you for your time. I'm going to share this with our community. Again, thanks a lot, and I wish you an awesome day.
Thank you as well. Have a good one.